The penguin left the herd and walked into the mountains to his certain doom, and everyone on X is asking the question, why? Let's get into it.
The mountains call me. And to be honest, Katie, I'd rather die young in those mountains than die old as just another penguin in a colony.
You did this for the family.
You did it for me.
Before we go too far, my name is Casey. I am a husband, father, therapist, and psychologist. For more than a decade, I've been asking questions like these. Should we leave the herd? What is the intent of independence? And what should we use our liberty to do? If you would like to get behind a future of faith, fatherhood, and freedom in America, that's why I created this channel. Please like on the way in. I would love to earn your subscription. Let's get into the right-wing penguin meme and what it means. So this is from a nature program from about 2008, and it has been rediscovered on X in recent days as everyone's asking the question, why did this penguin walk off into the mountains, away from his herd, away from the pack, and what would be utterly his destruction? Let's watch that clip.
But one of them caught our eye, the one in the center. He would neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why?
The narrator and creator of the film inevitably asks the question that everyone's going to want to know, which is, why did he do this? What was the end state that he expected, and why did he simply walk away from the herd? And the reason why it's striking a chord with people is a very Nietzschean desire to go independent, to leave the herd mentality and to walk away from society. When we see things like the release of the Epstein files most recently, it does give us all that hunger and desire to live a real life, even if it is one that is very abrupt and abbreviated, because the penguin knew that the herd held the certain outcomes for him. And while it might even have family or other things that were inherently good about it, he knew that true glory might be found on the mountain or even beyond. Maybe he just is asking the question, what is beyond the mountain? Because that to us, in our very human way, is what is beyond death, what is coming afterwards, and if we cross over the mountain, what will be found on the other side. And the journey is worth the question, it's worth even striving, and yes, it's worth even utterly going to our destruction in order to find out. The Nietzschean in all of us is saying that he is walking away from the group, he's walking away from survival, he's walking away from safety, and he's walking away from the pack mentality. And that is something that the strong man, the Ubermensch, is meant to personify, is all of these starkly independent, starkly libertarian ideas about walking away from society. And when we see things that happen in society, it gives us more and more pangs for the real, for something real, something we can put our hands on, even if that means certain doom. And that's what the penguin tried to put his little flippers on, was having a choice and taking that choice even if it meant his own destruction. The Nietzschean trap here is that the penguin expresses this no obligation, no duty, and no final loyalty beyond his self. And I would like, again, to offer an alternative perspective, because there is a greater penguin. The one that's walking away simply because he's dissatisfied with the pack is one that has a small, it's a small allegory to what we experience in our modern day lives, but there is a greater ride from the pack that is available, and for that we must look into the books and the philosophy of J.R.R. Tolkien.
Spears shall be shaken, shields shall be splintered, a sword day, a red day, and the sun rises!
In The Last Ride of the Rohirrim, in J.R.R. Tolkien's work, there is a similar allegory to what is happening to the penguin. They know they are riding out to certain doom, but there is an inherent amount of hope that is embedded in it. But the reason for the ride is drastically different. In J.R.R. Tolkien's work, and what I would like to ascribe to the penguin in this situation is perhaps he's riding out of a sense of duty. There is a reason to leave the pack. Perhaps the greater treasure is on the other side of the mountain, or even in the mountain itself, and so he's riding out like the Rohirrim did, with knowledge that he likely won't survive, but perhaps his footprints in the snow will allow his pack to have a greater future. And that is the ride of the Rohirrim. We take the seedling of hope that perhaps this is survivable, perhaps there is a greater outcome inherent to this last ride, and we walk out with the protection of God at our side, knowing that even if we go unto our doom, even if we go unto our destruction, we go for the purpose and reason of supporting and being a bridge for those that we love. And so the Rohirrim is doing it out of a sense of duty to the pack, and the Nietzschean is doing it out of a sense of duty to yourself, or a desire for liberty in and of ourselves. And that is the difference. Watch the last ride of the Rohirrim, the hopeless ride into battle, right here. I'll put up the Nietzschean versus Tolkien contrast here. The Nietzschean says that the penguin is leaving the herd, and the Tolkien says that he's riding out for his herd. The Nietzschean says that he's leaving to create meaning, to find deeper meaning, and the Tolkien view is that he's doing it to serve the meaning that he already has in his life, the people, or in this case penguins, that he already has in his life. The Nietzschean says that the self is sovereign and that they have a desire to serve that in a paramount way. That's why the penguin left. In the Tolkien view, it is a sacrificial loyalty, and that's what I'd like to think the penguin was doing, that there was perhaps a greater and deeper purpose for what he was doing that was a duty, not a duty to self, but a duty to others. The Nietzschean view is that this penguin is going to go into isolation, and that is ultimately a strength because he can survive in isolation. He knows his self well enough to have the willpower to do what he desires to do. The Tolkien view is that this is communion through courage, and though the penguin walked out in isolation, perhaps he's actually walking out to serve a greater purpose. The penguin looks Nietzschean at first glance, but Tolkien asks a harder question. Is it braver to walk away or to ride forward for others, knowing you won't return? The question embedded in the penguin is, what kind of courage do we admire now in our current era? Do you have the courage to walk away from the herd when they are doing things like taking advantage of young people in ways that we've seen through the medical industries, through my therapeutic industry? Do you have the courage to walk away from the herd when they tell you, you must wear a mask until we tell you not to? You must stay at home until we tell you not to. You must drive this kind of car, use this kind of oven, eat this kind of food, take these kinds of medications. You must listen to us. If you have the courage to walk away from that, you are exemplifying the penguin meme. And whether that's a Nietzschean view or a Tolkien view, it still takes courage to walk away from the herd. And I think that's why it struck a chord in our modern times that we see the herd so clearly. The internet has allowed the herd to be atomized and given into everyone's living room. And unfortunately, we see how it's just a masquerade, how it's just puppeteers pulling strings, and so many things that would dissolve our hope and our sanctity and our desire to serve others, because we see the herd mentality and all of the evil that comes out of it. However, The last ride of the Rohirrim shows that there could still be hope. There is a reason to ride out. There is a reason to try to go even unto our certain doom in order to try to make things better. We have a choice. What choice will you make, young penguin? Will you walk out in order to isolate yourself and to simply have the courage to remove yourself from the herd? Or do you walk out with that seedling of hope, that pinprick of light, that something better might be on the other side of the mountain? If you would like to support a future of faith, fatherhood, and freedom, and yes, even walk with courage to the other side of the mountain or the top of the mountain with me, I would love your support. Thank you for subscribing.